Thanks, everybody. Let's give a round of applause to Vinny, Gil, Zach, and Amy. Very fancy. I liked it. Now, before I get started, ladies, Channing Tatum, he's still, like, super sexy, right? That noise did not come out of that woman's mouth. That was her lady parts whistling in pleasure at the thought of Channing Tatum. And guys, look closely to all the women. Every time I say Channing Tatum, their breasts will actually start to wag back and forth like a happy dog's tail. It's subtle, but it's there. I bring it up because there's only two things that my wife actually loves in this world. And the first one is Channing Tatum. And the second one is really, really tall guys. So as you can see, she has horrible decision-making skills. Because this is a wreck. Like a lady. I feel like I'm so feminine. On a good day, I could probably be casted in a Monistat 1 commercial. Just me, like, frolicking through a field of wildflowers, talking about how fresh I am. I could pull it off. We were watching ETV one day, and it was an expose on Channing Tatum. And they were like, it was like before one of his G.I. Joe movies. And he's like working on, he's, you know, getting all sexed up and stuff and sweaty. And the announcer goes, Channing Tatum, standing at 6 feet tall. And I look over to my wife, and I can see all the happiness get sucked out of her face. And she goes, Channing Tatum's only 6 feet tall? He's a little short. Which makes me happy, because at 26, I only need to grow 4 more inches, and I'll be considered a little short in her eyes. Brings happiness to my soul. But I got good news for me about that. I got good news for everybody, because I have a theory that everybody in the world is good looking. You know, like we're all born a solid 6 or 7 out of 10. Now, of course, there are exceptions to the rule. Like Ron Perlman. There is no amount of vanilla extract cream or Botox injections that can make that man look like a genetically sound human being. His bone structure looks like it was built out of construction scaffolding. Same thing with Danny DeVito. I feel like Danny DeVito started off as like a little pile of rabbit turds. That like somehow got struck by lightning and garnered up a heartbeat. And that's his origin story. That's how Danny DeVito was born. A lot of Danny DeVito haters in the room tonight. I hated that movie Twins. Horrible. But like I said, we're all born good looking. We're all like a 6 or 7 out of 10. But the problem is, we can't take this as a compliment. Because if you look around, we're horrible looking. We're disgusting. Like as a population, we're disgusting. Which means that you're most likely ugly, and it's nobody's fault but your own. It's all your own decisions, you know? Your hair, your mannerisms, that weird poncho you wear that looks like an old farm dog with liver problems has been urinating on it for the last 7 years. These things add up and make you look disgusting. Now look, I know I'm not the best looking guy in the world, but I can admit it. Got a big nose, I'm short, got the cup size of a preteen girl that just hit her first cycle. And I look like a terrorist you could easily beat up. There. My crap's out of the way. We're going to focus on everybody else. Now, there's 2 things that you got to really take care of, I feel like, in order to be good looking. And the first one's your hair, and the second one's your teeth. Those 2 things, and you're pretty much all set. And we're going to start with the hair. And when I say take care of your hair, it's not very, like, expensive or hard to maintain. I don't mean you have to go to some weird stylist named Stefan that's going to like charge you $80 to put a rare anal secretion from a horse on your scalp to exfoliate it while blaring French house music in your face. No, just put a comb through it. Wash it every couple of weeks. Don't get a rat tail, you're set. You're good. Now the second thing, your teeth. The second thing is your teeth, which, that's harder. I mean, that's more expensive. That's harder to maintain. And I feel like there has to be a conscious effort by your parents at a very young age to keep your teeth in line, or it's not going to work out when you're older. You know? If since age 5, Dad's been cracking open beer bottles on your 2 front teeth, and dinner was a package of Skoal chewing tobacco, You're going to have problems down the line. Smile with your lips pressed firmly together. Go about your business. Now, the proof that my theory works are celebrities, because they're the same as you and me. They're all humans. But they look better, and the reason is they got the money, they got the time, they got the people around them to make them look attractive, you know? Like, look at Taylor Swift. Broad should not look that good. Taylor Swift's from the South. She should be living in a double-wide, barefoot, pregnant, wearing an old Dan Marino jersey, getting high off of the propane tank she uses to heat up her Hot Pockets. Nothing ages a gal quicker than living in a trailer and taking hits off of a poorly maintained batch of meth cooked in an infant bathtub. That'll make you look like an old long-haul trucker's nutsack. But Taylor Swift doesn't look like an old long-haul trucker's nutsack. She looks good because she's got the money and she's got the people around her to do it. Now, I've come to the realization that I'm not very masculine. And I know you're looking at me and you're like, Mark, what are you talking about? You're wearing a boy's medium shirt. Child size 14 husky pants. You own all the Menudo albums. How are you not the epitome of masculine in society today? But it's all fake, my friends. It's all a facade. But I don't think I'm gay. Mainly because I have a wife who'd be upset if I was questioning my sexuality. And I have no urge to go like glitter bomb a state senator. So I don't think that's what it is. I think just personally I'm not into like traditionally masculine things, you know. I'm not crazy into sports. I don't like cars. I'm not into like UFC fighting. I really like Zach Braff. He's America's sweetheart. Are you kidding me? No? You guys not into washed up metrosexual actors that rock a bouffant? That's not who you like? And maybe I got a couple of JTT posters ripped out of a Teen Beat magazine hanging up in my kitchen. There might be that situation going on. That laugh is fantastic. Distracting, but fantastic. But on the other side of the spectrum, I got this uncle who's like kind of very masculine, super manly, and I hate it. I hate this whole like fake machismo that a lot of guys have nowadays. It's like these people are one bowel movement away from throwing their feces on you to show their dominance. So, I'm kind of feminine. Uncle, traditional feces thrower. And we were having lunch, and we were talking, we got into a conversation about our biggest fears, what our greatest fears are. And I told him mine, and when I did, he made the most dismissive noise that I've ever heard in my entire life. I go, flat out, my biggest fear is getting stabbed, like, with a knife. I never want to be stabbed. And when I told him this, he just goes, come on. Like he was trying to convince me to be stabbed. And here's the thing, I thought I was saying one of the most agreeable things that I have ever said in my entire life. Like, I thought as a society, we've all kind of come together and said, you know what? We prefer not to get 4 inches of serrated stainless steel jabbed into our spleens. And just, the reaction he gave me, it made me feel like such a pussy. He acted like I walked into a room that was 68 degrees and went, ooh, it's a little chilly in here. Anybody got a thick shawl I can borrow? Preferably something in satin with a large floral pattern. But no, what I said is, when I'm walking down a dark alley, I don't want some 18-year-old jabbing me in the neck with a sharpened toothbrush in order to steal my Air Jordans. And I get, come on! Which would be more reasonable if we were disagreeing on an appetizer. He just like hates pizza logs. I had a coworker come up to me the other day, and this is the worst thing ever. And I'm sure you've had it done to you before. She comes out to me and she goes, hey Mark, I saw a TV show last night. It reminded me of you. You should check it out. Which automatically throws up a red flag because now my ego and my self-worth is completely reliant on whatever crappy TV show she was watching last night while throwing half a bag of Funyuns down her gullet. You know? I'm sitting there hoping it's a show about like a really muscular dude just going around beating up Russians, throwing haymakers at cosmonauts, every 15 minutes complaining about lower back problems because his genitals are so big that they drag him down. But that show doesn't exist, unfortunately. So she comes out to me, hey, I saw a TV show last night, it reminded me of you. I go, great, what's the show called? And she goes, it's called Girls. It's like Sex in the City, except hipper. And that, my friends, that is the moment my penis ran away. It did. It grabbed its little testicles, a stick and a bundle, and it wrapped all its belongings together with a couple of loose pubes, and it left. Because of her choice a TV show last night, I no longer have male genitalia. That's sad. You're like, no, poor male genitalia. Out in the cold. But I heard that show was good, so I went out and I rented the first season. And I watched all 10 episodes in a row. Killed it in one night. And it is very funny. It's hilarious. Judd Apatow produces it. Lena Dunham's in it. She writes it. Very funny show, except for one thing that I didn't like about it. It was the fact that literally 1% of all of that show's content is dudes vigorously masturbating. I wish that was a joke, because it leads me to believe that I'm portraying myself in the wrong light at work. If people see vigorous masturbation and go, you know what, call Mark up. It's like, this dude's gonna come, call Mark. Text him or something, take a picture. This is all him. And I know you guys are looking at me, you're like, really, Mark, what? 1% vigorous masturbation, is that really that bad? What are you, a prude? Think of it this way. Imagine this little show I'm doing here, this little bit, consisted of, 0.3% vigorous masturbation. You'd be having less of a good time. Possibly be calling a local authority. Preparing a damp rag to clean up after I was done. So don't tell me 1% vigorous masturbation isn't bad. It's bad. It's very, very bad. Been married for a little over 2 years now, which is nice. And alright, I'll take this cold, awkward silence as a congratulations. Nice. No, you can't sarcastically clap now. Oh yeah, we can talk about vigorous masturbation and people getting stabbed in the neck with toothbrushes, but I bring up marriage, you guys get lukewarm on me. It's sweet of you. It's nice. So, married, which is, it's nice. Being married, everybody makes it a big thing. It's really, whatever, you're just married. It's nice. The crazy part is the actual wedding. That's an insane concept, to have a wedding. So you're trying to start the rest of your life, and you're starting it by, putting a whole bunch of money down on one night. Guaranteed, you're going to spend, $15,000 minimum on your wedding. 15 grand, one night, one wedding, one party. And you think for $15,000 that you can get a lot of cool stuff. When you first see that number, you're like, oh my god, we're going to get those waitresses that are topless riding around on unicycles. Going to be serving a bunch of expensive champagne. Get a couple of Mexican dudes to hang out in the basement and run a cockfighting ring for the people into poultry. But no, your wedding's just grandmas sitting alone at a table, slurping down applesauce, yelling racial slurs about Eskimos. It's your big $15,000 party. It's the angry racist grandma package. Every hotel has it. They're going to try to push it on you. Don't take it. It's all fake. It's horrible. But I enjoy my wife. She's attractive. Attractive's good enough. We'll work out the rest later. Okay, we don't have to rush this whole marriage thing. She's attractive, which is nice, and I bring that up because before her, I was dating some horrible excuses for human beings in the looks department. They were disgusting, horrifying. Have you ever made out with a girl that was so ugly you got diarrhea the next day? That was my ex-girlfriend right before my wife. I don't know if she was chewing on raw chicken and spitting salmonella down my throat every time we kissed, or if just having your eyes that close together turns you into a light laxative. But whatever was going on, not agreeing with my stomach. It wasn't working out. But I just heard somebody say that's disgusting. Yes, ugly girls are disgusting, I agree. They are horrifying. But I had a couple of friends that are still doing the dating thing, and I got one guy, a friend that's who's super into like bigger girls, like chunkier girls, which whatever. I'm not judging him or anything. It's his thing. Personally, not my cup of tea. But actually, these are fat girls we're talking about. Personally, not my cup of clarified butter. But I'm not trying to judge the man for his decision. My only problem is that he's kind of self-righteous about the fact. He comes to me and he goes, Mark, you know what? I like to date bigger girls. And that's my cross to bear. Your cross to bear. I didn't know your ability to lift 250 pounds of dead weight was qualification for being considered a martyr. Do we name a cathedral in Boston after you? Do we tell the Pope? What happens? Now let's go through some religious figures for a second, okay? We got Mother Teresa. Spent her entire life helping, feeding the poor. Honorable. Jesus. Died for the sins of humanity. Pretty selfless. My friend received mouth sex from a portly gal behind a Fuddruckers restaurant and a box spring mattress. Oh man, which one doesn't belong? It's the one where you can buy chicken fingers for $2.99. That doesn't belong. I do like that the beards are coming back in fashion, and I bring it up just because it's all out of jealousy, because I can't grow a beard. Like, if I try to grow a beard, it looks like I went jogging for a little bit, then a couple of Armenian dudes come up in a cargo van, roll down the window, and rip out a bunch of chest hair and throw it on my face, and whatever sticks, like that's my beard for the day. I saw a pretty good one. Yellow hat guy's got a nice beard, right there. Sir, you are the most masculine person in the room because of it. Congratulations. Round of applause to Yellow Hats. Your beard looks like you could drive an F-150 pickup. I look like I can barely handle a Vespa. Like, does testosterone skip a generation? You've got so much testosterone spewing off your body, the people at your table are going through puberty for a second time. That's good. I look like Disney's Aladdin with a B cup. He's all muscly and masculine over there. It's good stuff. Oh, Aladdin. I've come to the realization that I hate birthday parties. And I hate birthdays. And when I say that, I don't mean it like in an obnoxious, middle-aged woman trying to hold on to the rotting scraps of her youth type of way. You know the type, 47 years old, still rocking a New Kids on the Block babushka, using half a roll of duct tape to firm up her breasts that usually have the consistency of tapioca. I'm just saying, as a people, as a society, as a country, we need to start embracing the aging process. Sure, every year you get older, you start to look more and more like a cheap votive candle melting in the hot summer sun. But aren't you happier? Aren't you more content? I know every year I get older, I'm more comfortable, I'm a happier person. The further away I get from those weird, sexually confused years of my youth, where I'm touching myself inappropriately in my mom's minivan, to the sexy curves of a pomegranate tea bottle, the happier I am as a human being. So run away from that stuff. Like I said, I don't like birthday parties and birthdays in general, and the reason is because if I get a bad gift, I can't pretend that I like it. I can't fake it. Now, I'm not chucking the season 3 VHS of Murphy Brown across the room in anger or anything, but I can't emote that I actually like this present. My wife, on the other hand, she's awesome at it. She's an expert. If she gets a bad gift, she can really do it. My grandmother can give her a XXL irregular yellow sweatshirt with a communist sickle and hammer emblem on it. My wife would be like, this is perfect. If you've been looking through my phone, how did you know I was into yellow shirted communism? This is the best. Wow, where did you get this? What do you mean, where did she get it? Homeless people were using it as an ass rag. She saw it on the ground, she threw it in the trunk, and now you're wearing it. Congratulations. Now we have lice. A thing that personally to me needs to end is when people throw birthday parties for like really little kids. And when I say that, I don't mean like a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old. Those are fine. Those are awesome. You kidding me? Bunch of kindergartners all hyped up on half a pound of cake and sugar, running around a room. Everybody's making fun of the fattest kid who inevitably gets really nervous and worked up and throws up in the corner. Has to call his mom to come pick him up early. Those are what dreams are made of, my friends. I'm talking about when a parent will like throw a birthday party for like a 1-year-old. Parents, use the rule of thumb. This is what you do. You use your thumb, you press really hard on the top of their head. If it leaves an indentation, just invite grandma. No one else cares. They don't. Your kid doesn't even care. She's 1 year old. She can barely comprehend the fact that she exists on this world as a being. You think she cares about a Polly Pocket? No. She's still suckling on areola for nourishment. The kid doesn't care. Speaking of horrible things, I saw a doggy bakery the other day. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a shop where you can go in and you can buy $7 gourmet treats for your dog. Does this not seem like overkill to anybody else? We've all met a dog before, right? You know what tastes good to a dog? Licking another dog's ass. Like, literally a dog ass is like a movable oven that shoots out soft, warm treats that another dog would be completely fine eating. We're not talking about a creature with a high taste palate here. And, but also, how depressing must it be to like be a baker and finally open up your first shop? But always in the back of your mind, you know that your main clientele could walk in, eat the asbestos out of the drywall, and be completely fine with the meal they got that day. Like, your skill has nothing to do with it. There also had to be that one moment at culinary school where the teachers were talking and they take them aside and they're like, hey, look, Mike, we know you put a lot of time and effort into this. You're always early to Frogwa 101, intro to julienne salads. But we've been talking, and we feel like you should only make food for creatures with low brain capacities. Mike, that's your niche, that's your forte, it's you, you know? Only make baked goods for an animal that gets scared and pisses the carpet every time an Xbox is turned on. That's who you are, Mike. I saw an article that begs the question, can your dog be mentally unstable? I've never seen a dog went, you know what, this is a completely sane, sound, and capable mind. This guy needs to be doing my taxes. Or driving around my elderly Jewish grandmother in a town car. That's what I need this guy for. I remember growing up, my dog, she would spend her entire day trying to catch bees in her mouth. Out of all the things you can ingest around the yard and the house, why would you choose the one item that will swell up your esophagus to the size of a cantaloupe? That's like reverse evolution. That's your brain trying to kill you. She was determined, dumb but determined. Almost as dumb as people that would go out and buy a $7 gourmet treat for a creature that only pretends to love you because you feed it every day. Alright? Now I'm going to preface this next part with the fact that I have a dog. I own a dog, so I'm in the same boat as all of you guys. But going out and getting a dog, adopting a dog, is one of the most selfish things you can do in your life. Just think about it. You are literally going out and buying a friend. And not just any friend. You're buying a friend that won't ever judge you or make fun of you for your horrible life decisions. Oh, go ahead, quit your job. Gain 250 pounds. Wear nothing but an open kimono everywhere. Butter your toast with your half-hard phallus. Your dog will be like, yeah, Brian's cool. A little buttery, but he's cool. I'm into Brian. He's a good guy. So, well, you guys don't like the butter penis jokes? Because I got like another half hour of those. So as some of you might know, I work in radio as a DJ. And the general rule in radio is that all the DJs are supposed to have like zany nicknames and fun nicknames. And the whole point of it is that it's easier to remember like Cowboy Bill than it is to remember Bill. You know? That's the whole concept behind it. And I feel like I have the worst radio DJ nickname in the industry. My real name is Mark, and get ready for a knee slapper because this is hilarious. My radio DJ nickname is Homeless Mark. Oh yeah, that's about as funny as juvenile arthritis. Horrifying. Also, nothing says success in the career of your choice like being compared to a vagrant ridden with whooping cough, picking through a raccoon carcass next to a Costco. Brings happiness right here. And here's the thing about radio that's surprising though, is it's very self-important. You know, when you first start, they take you aside and they're like, hey, look, millions of advertising dollars are on the line. Our FCC license is in your hands. When it comes to a terrorist attack or a natural disaster, you are the first line of information to the community, so you cannot screw this up. Do you understand me? Alright, with that being said, what do you want your nickname to be? Johnny Scrotebags or Dick Fart? It's like, I'll take Johnny Scrotebags, it's less ethnic. And sit down, if you aren't already, because this is a grand tale. I'm going to tell you how I got my nickname. This is a spinny of this yarn. Alright, it's great. It was like my first week, and I was walking down the hallway, and my boss at the time sees me, and he stops me, and he goes, hey, you're Mark, right? And I'm like, it's my first week. I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, Mark. Like, excited that he knows my name. I'm like, yes, I am Mark. And then he goes, you don't dress that good, huh? Okay, well, a little forward. I'll take it. And then he goes, I'm going to call you Homeless Mark. And that, my friends, is the type of creativity that's going to cure cancer someday. That's it right there. That's the type of creativity that gets like 12 Nickelback songs played every day on radio. It's that smart thinking. Right there. The thing is, though, not everybody in radio has a crappy DJ nickname. Like, I know a dude in the industry, and his name is Mike Danger. Danger is literally the man's last name. Like, watch out for this guy. He's going to rip off a piece of rusted hubcap and stab you in the neck if you look at him wrong. That's badass. And I get the name Homeless Mark, which implies that I'm performing sexual favors in a public bathroom for a couple of loose menthol cigarettes. Just depressing. I heard like a G's. Like, I'm not really blowing people for specialty cigarettes. Like, put it in my ass. I'll give me that carton of Senecas. Thank you. Jokes. I'm married. Come on. But ultimately, when it comes to nickname, I know that it's my fault that the name stuck because I showed people that it bothered me. And that's when a nickname sticks, you know, when your friends and your family and your loved ones, your mother and your wife start to see that a name is slowly sucking the soul out of your body and you're becoming an empty shell of a man with nothing left to live for, that's when people love calling you the nickname. That's when society really takes a hold of it. Because if you think about it, even nice nicknames, even the endearing ones, are sopping with irony, you know? It's like when you call a fat guy Tiny. Or a dude with a cleft lip, Handsome Joe. It's meant to be mean, it's meant to be demeaning, that's the whole point of it, you know? It's always like, hey, let me introduce you to a couple of my buddies. This right here is Dick Sucking Lips. We got Nazi Nate, Date Rape Randy, masturbates to hentai porn Henry, and behind me is my brother. We call him touched inappropriately by his uncle at a very young age with a loofah and a bathtub Sal. They're great people, you're gonna love them. Great to hang out with. So, I saw this, I feel like I got really vulgar when I was talking about a penis going in my ass in order to get a package of Seneca cigarettes. I feel like that was like a low point in my life. I didn't mean to go there, that was...
It used to be a quarter.
When you say it used to be a quarter, is that only a quarter of the dick going in, and now it's like full, like, fucking New York State taxes. I gotta put the whole dick in my ass now. Used to just be a tip. Soon you're gonna have to put the whole balls in too. It's gonna be horrible. So, I saw an article in the newspaper. It was actually a story about a gang member that got caught trying to smuggle 100 bags of heroin across state lines. Here's the kicker. He was hiding the heroin inside of his ass. I'm going to go ahead and cite this as the reason I don't do any illegal substances. Never really had the fear that the clementine I'm eating had to be smuggled in strapped to the scrotum of a small horse. But 100% of drugs are either cut with baking powder or an extra helping of irritable bowel. So I stay away from the stuff. Can you imagine meeting the guy that smuggled 100 bags of heroin inside of his ass? Here's my question. Why not just split up the load? Take 2 trips, nobody's gonna make fun of you. Sure, you're like splurging a little bit on the gas, but at the same time you won't be wearing a colostomy bag by age 30. The integrity and dexterity of your anus is at stake, my friends. I imagine you'd have to work up to 100 bags of heroin inside of your ass, you know? You don't just wake up and do that one day. Like this guy was doing a bunch of Kegel exercises. Every day he's going out to like an old traffic cone, lubing it up with some margarine, sitting further and further down on it. And we'll get there. But then the time came, you know, he got called up to the big leagues. 100 bags of heroin, 1 anus. This was going to be like his anus heroin smuggling Mona Lisa. He was going to live in infamy after this one. Took 4 grown men, a fire poker, and a Doberman, but they got it all in. But then the problem is, he got caught. You know, he got caught by the cops, and I can only imagine it's because he couldn't get the walk down. You know, I feel like there's a certain stiff-legged gallop that a man has when holding that much material in his lower intestine that a police officer can easily spot. You're not exactly doing back handsprings across town with 5 pounds of illegal substance in your lower colon. I saw a new study that says kids, or because of the internet, kids are watching porn at a younger and younger age, making them more interested in sex at a younger and younger age. So now as a parent, you actually have to talk to your kids at a younger and younger age about having sex, which I feel like it's completely false and backwards, because personally, I feel like porn is so weird and so obscure that it can't be making a child interested in sex, you know? Like, porn is the WWE wrestling of sex. There's always 2 ripped dudes involved. People are all oiled up, spitting into each other's mouths. And it always ends up with somebody getting put through a table. That's not real sex. Real sex is 2 out-of-shape people breathing heavily into each other's mouths for 3 minutes with their sweaters still on. That's real sex. And here's the proof that statement, that theory is wrong, completely wrong. It's the fact that a couple of weeks ago, I saw a porn that involved a horse. Now, do you think the introduction of livestock into lovemaking is really piquing a child's interest in sex? And I look at that and I'm like, yes! Give that to me! The craziest part, though, was the fact that the horse was wearing a condom. Now look.
Jesus.
Ah, yes. Jesus indeed. I can appreciate trying to have safe sex. I really can. But if you're at the point in your life where you're trying to get your big break, and you got a couple of dudes driving you out to a barn in rural Nebraska, and you walk through the doors and there's nothing but salt licks and oats everywhere, and you perch up on a haystack, and there's that moment where you feel Barbaro's hot breath on the back of your neck. At that moment in time, I feel like stallion syphilis is the least of your concerns. You have a whole slew of other problems ahead of you, and they're like 2 minutes away. The best part about the porn, the funniest to me, was when I looked at the title on it. It was the fact that the horse got first billing over the girl. Like, hey, look, sweetheart, we know you put a lot of time, effort, and vaginal elasticity into this movie. But we feel like Mr. Ed is just a much bigger draw. This guy knows how to push product. That's a hell of a thing to put on a resume, though, am I right? Can type 55 words per minute, expert in Microsoft Office, and now can smuggle a 2-liter of soda into a movie theater. God bless her, she's a lucky gal. I feel like I've officially reached the point in my life where my friends can get pregnant and it's not a horrible, life-ruining travesty anymore. You know, whereas like 8 years ago, somebody got pregnant. It was like, oh my God, Kristen, how are you going to graduate middle school? Which member of the lacrosse team did this to you? Kristen, so young. Babies having babies. But now, like, it's a good thing, you know? Like, I have a couple of friends, they got married a few years ago, and they had their first kid, and it's happy. It's a joyous occasion. It's fun that they have a kid. They're kind of hipster, go green, all natural people. Like, they had a water birth. I had to look that up. You're pretty much just pooping a kid into a bathtub, from what I saw. You're going like, hey, if this kid's not Michael Phelps by the third trimester, fuck it, I don't want him. Let him drown in the bathtub. I don't want this kid. They don't like diapers either, because they say diapers are wasteful, because, you know, you use them once, hopefully, and you throw them out. But they're also kind of prissy, so they don't like using the cloth diapers, which is pretty much just a linen napkin with a turd on it. And you actually have to scoop it out. So what they did is they looked online and they found this video how to like origami together a diaper out of recycled newspapers. I walked into their house, their poor kid has yesterday's sports section on his ass. He looked like Tarzan's white trash second cousin. Horrible. Speaking of babies, I also saw this new thing that it's an extreme type of parenting, but they don't like using soap because there's so much like chemicals and the antibacterial stuff. They say that's not good for you. So they said to be more like nature, they lick their kids clean, you know? They'll lick their hands if they got dirt on it or food or whatever. They'll lick the hair if it gets too oily. I'm hoping this isn't your go-to method when you have to change a diaper. Right? Just like diving in tongue and nose first. Maybe use a moist towelette, that's all I'm saying. I wouldn't be afraid of having kids, but it's like, yeah, I feel like financially it might be tough. I feel like financially I just got to the point where I can take care of myself right now. Like, even 2 years ago, there was a point in my life where I was so strapped for cash, I thought I had to get a second job. And I thought a good idea would to be able to get a job as a DJ at a strip club. I lasted 2 hours on the job. Apparently I don't wear enough Axe body spray or own enough silk shirts with dragon emblems on them for that kind of work. Also, I feel like you have to have a real passion for slapping women who happen to be down on their luck across the face. I don't really have. Not in me. So I go to the strip club, and they have me fill out some paperwork, and I'm doing that, and then some guy comes up to me, he's like, hey, when you're done with that, I'm going to have you shadow our top DJ at the strip club. His name is Clint. First off, the accolade of top DJ at a strip club seems a little hard to gauge. Like, is this Clint guy really that much better than all the other DJs that playing Girls, 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 Pour Some Sugar on Me and Cherry Pie? Oh man, the way he transitions between Bon Jovi and Kiss, it's an artistry that rivals Mozart. And Clint's the best. I do like that his name is Clint, though, because it's one letter away from being named Clit. Like, when picking your nickname, was Legina already taken? Good for Clint. So I filled out my paperwork, I go up to the DJ booth, and I introduce myself. I'm like, hey, I'm Mark. And before I can even finish that sentence, he goes, Mark, you know what? I'm going to stop you right there. And I just want to let you know that this is going to be like nothing you've ever experienced before in your life. And as I gazed the room, out of my peripheral vision, I saw a toothless man throwing crumpled up dollar bills at a mother of two as she picked up his Nokia flip phone with her lady parts. And I have to say, I agreed with that statement. Clint was dead on. Surprisingly though, Clint, super normal looking. Like, kind of tall, lanky, had a button-up shirt. And I know I'm stereotyping, but I was expecting like complete 70s porn star, you know? Kind of like short, fat, Hawaiian shirt, tufts of chest hair spewing out, a stench coming off of his genitals that would rival a patch of carpeting that a feral cat has been spraying on for the last couple of weeks. But no, super normal looking, except for one thing. It was the fact that Clint had a really, really long pinky nail. And for those of you that don't know, that's a coke nail. It makes it easier for people to do cocaine off of. Now, do cokeheads think they're being super discreet with the long pinky nail? You know? Like, people just see that and go, oh, this guy doesn't do copious amounts of cocaine. He just forgot to trim that nail the last 9 weeks in a row. Honest mistake. He's not changing his body in any shape or form in order to do coke. No big deal. And now, look, I don't do coke. I've never done it. And I don't usually hang out with strippers. But I feel like Clint is missing out on a great opportunity here. If every day you go to work, you have the opportunity to do your coke off the cusp of a stripper's breast, how do you not do it?
Wow.
That's like top tier cocaine use, you know? That's like going to church at the Vatican. If every day you can do your coke off a stripper's areola in a public bathroom, goddammit, you do it, Clint. You do it. But ultimately, this is why I didn't last at the strip club. It's because I met the owner. Her name was Barbara, and she fit every stereotype of a used-up, worn-out stripper from back in the day. She bought it like the club like 15 years ago. She had like some thinning hair, thick hide of skin. She had like that melting snowman body. She had that gruff voice that says, yeah, I smoke a pack of cigarettes on a daily basis and possibly huff the exhaust of a 72 Camaro every once in a while. Yeah, she was terrible, and she's showing me around. Barbara's showing me around. She's showing me where I'd be punching in. She's showing me where my locker would be. And then she takes me into the changing room. And of course, it's a strip club. There's a bunch of naked girls in there changing. And she's showing me around there. She's showing me like where I'd have to change the Sprite if that ever ran out. And as she's doing this, she kind of like looks past me. She looks towards the ladies that are stripping. And she goes, hey ladies, look at what I finally got done. And without skipping a beat, pulls down her sweatpants to her knees to reveal that she had recently gotten the Star of David shaved into her lady parts. Now look, I don't want to seem anti-Semitic, but seeing my would-be boss's vagina with a religious emblem shaved into it was pretty much the reason I said, you know what, this job's not for me. I'm going to go bag groceries at Walmart. Well, everybody, thanks for coming. Listen to me on the Zone 3 until 7. I appreciate it. And thanks for everybody else. Diddy, Heel, Jack, and me. Thank you.
Keep it going for them. Except for you, man, whose arms are folded. You do not have to clap. You're the only one who's not allowed to clap right now. You can hide your face. We all see you. We all see you. All right, thank you guys for coming out. Give it up one more time for all the performers tonight.